In late 2024, I released two books entitled Imposter, Rupert Murdoch's Fake Sheik Mazher Mahmood Exposed, which between the two volumes contain over 1,430 pages of facts and undisputable evidence that my convictions and other fake Sheik victims' convictions are unsafe. Those books, available on Amazon, were released after I received a Part 36 settlement offer, which I could not refuse due to the nature of UK civil law, in my case in my birth name Alex Smith versus News Group Newspapers, which was filed on the 30th of September 2022. You can see my original claim lodged with the courts for phone hacking, unlawful information gathering, and the publication of defamatory untrue lies and other allegations that I made, such as the fact that Mazher Mahmood had drugged my drinks and was all elements of the supply chain, on my site circusofthemind.net. Circusofthemind.net is also the place where you can see what my previous appeal against my convictions contained, and you will note that in early 2022 ultimately the Court of Appeal refused me permission to appeal out of time, and then the CCRC failed to refer me to the Court of Appeal. However, because of disclosure during my Alex Smith versus News Group Newspapers claim, I've now got all the videos and the audios and photographs and documents and all manner of other things that, whilst I can't share them with you here because of the nature of the settlement agreement, I am able to share them with the Criminal Cases Review Commission, and I will shortly be giving them such because they prove that my case should never have gone to court and that my convictions are unsafe, and indeed they also illustrate that Mahmood never had any public interest journalism defence to do covert recordings in the manner he did, let alone to supply money up front and encourage somebody to do something they didn't want to do and use excessive persuasion in that, as the evidence I now have proves occurred. An article appeared on Substack by Paddy French on the 2nd of May 2024 entitled Framed, exclusive. The Murdoch newspaper empire is ignoring calls to release documents which show that fake Sheik Mahmood was caught 2 decades before he was finally brought to book. And this story contains the information and proof that the police and the Crown Prosecution Service both knew in 1994, because these latest revelations show that police, prosecutors, the judiciary and the News of the World all knew that Mahmood was committing perjury as early as 1994. A court case collapsed in around 94, which led to the police and Crown Prosecution Service communicating with each other and stating that Mahmood could not and should not ever be relied upon as a witness of truth ever again, and yet they continue to turn a blind eye to his lack of reliability until the collapse of the Tulisa trial in July 2014, some 20 years later. Beggars belief, and at no point did they ever disclose to me or other victims that that case had collapsed in 94, which, had they done, would have meant I would most likely never have changed my plea from guilty to from not guilty rather to guilty on the first day of trial, because I would have been able to show that Mahmood was an unreliable witness. Another Substack article entitled Stitched Up by Paddy French, dated May the 30th, 2024, covers details of two, yes, press gangers uncovered 2 new cases of collapsed trials involving the News of the World reporter Mazher fake Sheik Mahmood. A 1998 Bradford Crown Court trial collapsed after Mahmood and an informant were accused of setting up a schoolboy in a drug sting, and a 2001, the trial of a young woman accused of passport-related offences was stopped when the prosecution admitted she was a whistleblower, not a villain. At no point before the first day of my trial on the 1st of March 1999. At no time before then was I ever informed of the 1994 collapse trial or the 1998 collapse trial. And at no point since the collapse of the 2001 trial to the present day have the CPS ever disclosed information to me about that, or the police. And yet they have a duty, a legal duty, that they should disclose things that could affect cases to people like me. They've never done that, and they should have done. As reported in a Guardian article of July 2006 that's been brought to my attention, there was a case in 1999 where Mahmood was criticised for ensnaring the Earl of Ardwick. But then there's also, in October 1999, Roderick Giggs, brother of footballer Ryan, is arrested after being accused of supplying cocaine to Mahmood. He loses his job, but is later found not guilty after the prosecution says it cannot rely on taped conversations between him and Mahmood. Like many other Mahmood victims, I've always said that he gave the police incomplete, edited tapes. Now that I've in disclosure of Alex Smith versus NGN, which was settled at the end of 2024 by them effectively weaponising a Part 36 offer to keep my allegations against them out of court, so they could avoid them being ruled upon by a judge, they have disclosed to me the videos and audios that were taken, and those collectively show that Mahmood provided the money for me to go and pick up alleged counterfeit coins up front. His associates told me where to get this from. In other words, it was all elements of the supply chain. There is video evidence that would back up my assertion that my drinks were drugged. And it shows beyond doubt that despite my inability to supply a whole bunch of different contraband that was requested, that I never did supply any of the things like drugs and whatnot, and that indeed he was inappropriate with the level of pressure he was putting on. And the disclosure also shows that he never had any real public interest journalism suspicion of any crimes previously having taken place, because it was an engineered media stunt, engineered by me, as documents I got in disclosure prove. So the lack of disclosure on top of all that, with the police and CPS never revealing to me or any other victims what they've known for years, and to this day they've never disclosed those things, renders, I would argue, my convictions unsafe. June 2024, the book Shadow Man by Glenn Mulcaire was released, and he talks about in this, as he does in the statement he kindly gave me to support my appeal, the fact that the company he was working for, headed by John Boyall, was employed by Mazher Mahmood via Greg Miskew to do phone hacking, unlawful information gathering and such like, and that based on the receipts I have, it would most likely have been Glenn that was tasked to do that research on me back in 1998, both before the publication of the Sting story and leading up to my court cases. In the book Master of the Dark Arts by Greg Miskew, which was published in June 2024, he also talks about the fact that he acted as a go-between between the fake Sheik Mazher Mahmood and Glenn Mulcaire and John Boyall's company, and that Mahmood did indeed use phone hacking and lawful information gathering, just as the receipts I have obtained show occurred to me. In the book Downfall, published in May 2025, Steve Grayson goes on record, as he has done in a statement for me to support my appeal, and states that he in the past witnessed the fake Sheik Mazher Mahmood drug people's drinks in the course of a sting, and that he bragged the fake Sheik about doing such in his personal life as well. I asserted this, numerous people have asserted it over the years, and as I say, it's published in his book, The Fact He Witnessed Such. Also inside this book, there's extracts from the statement Greg Miskew gave me, confirming that he acted as a go-between between Glenn Mulcaire and the fake Sheik for phone hacking, unlawful information gathering and such activities, of which I have receipts proving it took place to me on multiple occasions. And bear in mind, as shown on my YouTube Celebrity Hypnotist channel, if you click on playlists and go to the one about the fake Sheik exposed, you'll see a video I made earlier in 2025 when I received a private letter of apology from news group newspapers. Now, when you bear in mind on circusofthemind.net, I lay out what my allegations were, the fact that I strongly believe and have evidence to support such that the fake Sheikh Mazher Mahmood drugged my drinks to make me more compliant and easily manipulated and coerced into doing things, that the videos and audios, photographs and documents I've obtained in disclosure of Alex Smith versus NGN illustrate the fact that way too much pressure was put upon me and I was manipulated way too much. There was not a public interest in it. Further, that there was no public interest journalism prior suspicion of any illegal activity that would have justified secret filming and audio recordings, thus rendering the video and audio recordings unlawful and would have been rendered inadmissible as evidence if I'd been able to prove that back in the day, but they only gave some recordings to the police and CPS. Proves beyond any reasonable doubt that the fake Sheikh Mazher Mahmood never told the police that he'd used unlawful information gathering techniques, phone hacking and surveillance, which he shouldn't have been doing, okay? But Greg Miskew confirms he acted as a go-between to Glenn Mulcaire, and I've got the receipts that show this happened to me on multiple occasions during the course of the sting and also after the story appeared, largely made up of fabricated lies. All the way up to my court cases, so they were interfering in the judicial process as well. Had that been known, then surely the case would never have got to court or it would have been thrown out. Along with the fact that we now know the police and CPS knew in 1994 Mahmood could not and should not ever be trusted as a witness of truth and said so to each other in writing. And then in 98 another case collapses, and 99, 2001, and indeed the Tulisa case collapsed in 2014 and a whole bunch of other cases as well, all with the same modus operandi that occurred to me as per details on circusofthemind.net, thus rendering, I would argue, both mine and many other Mahmood victims' convictions completely, wholly unsafe. Indeed, there was not even any proof that the alleged fake coins were indeed real or fake, either way, because the Royal Mint have confirmed, as shown on circusofthemind.net, that they keep records from that time period, but they've nothing connected to my name or the News of the World or the fake Sheik in relation to that story. So there was never any forensic evidence. Also, the chain of evidence relating to the coins was compromised by the fake Sheik, who had in his possession 3 alleged fake coins for a period of I've got to try and remember here, something daft like 15 days, and then 1,000 coins in his possession for well over a week, about 10 days. The actual correct dates and stuff are on circusofthemind.net. But the point is, there was no proof of chain of evidence. There's no proof that the alleged coins he gave to the police were ever the right ones. And indeed, there's evidence of errors galore in the documents from the police and the CPS, where it's, according to them, 997 coins and 3, which is 1,000, or 996 coins and 3, which is 999 coins, where in fact it should be 3 coins and 1,000, which is 1,003. So there's actually missing evidence as well. It's laughable this ever went to court with what's now come to light. But all of this and a whole bunch of other evidence showing that Mahmood could not and should not ever be trusted will be submitted to the CCRC in the near future. However, I don't hold out massive hope because they seem to be, by reports I'm seeing on the internet, incompetent and will do everything they can to avoid sending things back to court. But watch this space. Check out circusofthemind.net and also, of course, the link above or below this video. Please share this far and wide.